Hello, my fellow Ghoul Renegade, and welcome back to a brand new video of Ghoulish Reacts. Okay, so we are finally here, the Backrooms Part 4. I know this video has been very, very late, and for a lot of reasons I haven't been able to make this video, but we are finally doing it today. Okay, so we are finishing up with Season 1 of Kane Pixels, The Backrooms. Kane has pretty much released Season 2. He's posted a lot more new videos for Season 2. The only reason why I'm calling it Season 2 is simply just because he made a video called Backrooms Found Footage Number 2. So obviously it's the start of a new... I think it's still elaborating on the story that we've been hearing about, but it's just the second part to it. So it's kind of like, I'm just calling it Season 2 just because why not? So anyway, the video we were watching today is called Backrooms Report. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And this takes place right after Pitfalls, I'm assuming.
That's not a person. What is that? That is not a fucking person! What? Don't talk to me. What do you see? What's going on? Talk to us. What's happening?
Interesting. So they just showed us the outside of the Async building, and that recording was from Pitfalls. That was when Marvin encountered the entity, or one of the monsters down there, the one that mimics voices, and was like screaming like a person. That was a recording from when he was running away and when he encountered that entity within the back rooms. So it's still continuing on from Pitfalls. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, here's the research team. They're coming back from the threshold. So there was a guy there in Async, probably CEO, waiting for them to come back, or at least head of the research department. Oh, so Kane's going like more live action with this. That's interesting. Alrighty then. I kind of like it. I like how he's going into live action a little bit. Wow, Kane's cinematography is just, it's so good, man. This looks like we're watching a movie, not gonna lie. Okay, so they're watching Marvin's experience through the camera he was wearing. All the other Async scientists.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
That's interesting.
That's not a person. What is that? That's not a fucking person! Sorry, can you repeat that?
They're rewinding it to see what it looks like. See, that was interesting what they showed there. Like, after that thing started moving and doing the screaming thing, the look on those two Async scientists' faces they like when they were watching it, they were showing like genuine fear, like their eyes widened and they just were like almost like they looked like they were in a state of shock. But in a way, they kind of showed like genuine fear of what this entity was, even though they're the ones trying to understand what it is. So there was something about that encounter that Marvin had that was really unnerving, and these guys, it showed on their faces, which I find pretty interesting. That was, yeah. I really like how Kane is going into live action a lot more. I think it adds a lot to the story and the world building. That's not it, is it? Oh, okay, there's still more. One thing I would like to mention, I figured out that in Kane's series specifically, the Backrooms actually isn't called the Backrooms. It's referred to as the Backrooms, but in Kane's series, the Backrooms is actually called the Complex, which I did not know about that until now because I did my own. I actually watched a few videos about Kane's series, and I think Wendigoon he did an interview with Kane, and Kane was calling the Backrooms in his series the Complex. So I found that was pretty interesting. But the portal, as I was calling it, is still called the Threshold. So I was right about that. And Kane, within that interview with Wendigoon, he kind of cleared up some of the stuff that I thought was confusing about the series. But I like how like now in these later videos that he's linking everything still together. Like that's it's still a story. Okay, so we're back in the complex. So it's just showing different rooms. Okay. So more construction's happening. Okay, so Async has built like a wooden frame to put over the wall. Ah. Oh, that is really, really interesting. So for certain unknown reasons, probably because of that encounter that Marvin had, they sealed off that area. I guess to make sure that no research team, whoever went into the complex, ever went into that area ever again. So they sealed that off, and so probably subsequently they sealed off that area, and so whatever monsters lie behind that area, they're gonna stay in that area because they sealed that sector off. That's it's pretty interesting. That's a good twist I didn't see coming. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Okay, so the video pretty much ended there. So pretty much what that ending was. I know that seems a little confusing, but what I'm assuming is Async is building like little research stations essentially within the back rooms with windows that cover themselves, probably doors that open. And I think Kane confirmed that with his in his interview that Async is taking precautions to prevent stuff like this from ever happening again. Okay, well, that was the first video that we are reacting to today. Without further ado, let us move to the second and final video for the Backrooms as of now, because I'm going to react to the other ones. I'm going to react to Season 2, like I said, because I'm just finishing up Season 1. So, yeah, let's get into it. The last video that we will be reacting to for today is the Backrooms presentation. This one was 8 minutes long, the last video was 6 minutes long, but the only reason why the time on my recorder is probably longer is because, obviously I talk through these things. This one actually just has captions, so we're gonna listen to it. FBI warning, federal... Oh, gotta go back. I want to read that. FBI warning, federal law provides severe civil and criminal penalties for the unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or exhibition of the following videotape. Alright, let's get into it. We're no stranger to government tapes, guys. ASIC, Research Institute. Ah, they're an institute. Interesting. I've always liked that. I've always liked the word institute. Like, just shows like what kind of corporation they are. And actually, the definition of institute, it actually holds very good precedence to like what type of building it is, because institutes, most of them do deal with science. Industries, they deal with like factories and stuff like that. A space. I cannot read that.
The world around us is ever-changing. Throughout this past century, we have seen the advent of countless innovations that have completely reshaped life as we know it. But with all of this growth comes a number of undesirable byproducts. Byproducts that, if left unchecked, have the potential to irreversibly scar our modern world.
Alrighty.
As human expansion is projected to increase exponentially in the coming decades, we must account for these never-before-faced challenges in ways equally never-before considered. Here at Async, we believe we have found the solution. The Low-Proximity Magnetic Distortion System.
Or aka the threshold. There it is. There's the complex.
What is the Low-Proximity Magnetic Distortion System? Using 32...
Oh.
...will be distributed...
Hold on. Gotta go back just a little bit. I like this little instructional video. It's awesome.
What is the Low-Proximity Magnetic Distortion System? Using 30...
The Low-Proximity Magnetic Distortion System, considering and allowing detectable to by rapidly, which... Oh, it's like half redacted. Okay.
Will be distributed across all points, allowing for cargo and personnel to seamlessly pass through their designated threshold.
Receiving. Okay. Oh!
While our current threshold is limited in scale, future models will be able to span entire rooms, allowing for the transfer of larger vessels and equipment.
Ah, okay. I think I'm starting to get like the story element of this. Okay, so the thing is, Async plans to open up the Backrooms, or the complex, whichever one you want to use, to the world, and use it as a storage facility to house many different items like trucks, vehicles, houses probably. Like, they want to bring people into the Backrooms and open it to the entire world. So I'm assuming this is like a government type program where the government has collabed with Async and they're like, hey, we really like what you're doing with this low proximity portal that you made that has opened up the Backrooms or the complex, like I said, whichever one you want to use. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it the complex because it's easier for me to remember. And they're just like, hey, we like what you're doing with this portal, the threshold, to open up the complex. Why don't we open this in the world so this can solve the storage problem? So I'm assuming in this, this probably takes place in an alternate timeline of our world, of course. So I'm assuming at this point, Earth is having a massive problem with storage. And the government is trying to find a way to solve that problem as quick as possible, and it turns out Async has landed upon the complex. Because as he said, they're going to allow larger vessels to be going through. Granted, he said the portal is small at this point, but once they make the portal bigger, they can transport bigger things into the back rooms. So I'm assuming that Async is going to want the whole world to live within the complex. That's just my take on it for right now. I could be entirely wrong, but that's my take on it. Okay, so we got a few an async employee and maybe 2 executives of the government. Okay, let's see what this says. Property cost comparison, leasing and maintenance. Okay. So conventional storage, they're saying Async is saying that conventional storage is very, very expensive which not gonna lie, I I know how expensive storage units are, especially in this age. They're pretty expensive. And with the situation that I'm not gonna go into it, but with the situation I'm currently going through right now, storage units, they're expensive as all get out, especially when you own multiple of them. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the situation, but I know, so I can relate to this, honestly. But A-Space, the cost is very, very low. Through Async, the Async company, the cost is extremely low. Almost free. But, you still got to pay just a little bit. Okay, let's see. Total storage volume. Estimated national supply. Oh, okay. So now they're talking about how much they'll be able to fit within the complex using the A-Space program. So that's conventional storage. Oh my lord. It's just gonna keep growing. My lord. Okay, so pretty much that just confirms that conventional storage, you can only store so much, but with the A-Space program at the Async Labs, it's potentially infinite. Because granted, we don't know how big the Backrooms is. Now, I know if you go on the official Backrooms wiki, there are so many different levels. You can even write your own story and create your own level. I was thinking about doing that, actually. But I'm trying to come up with the concept of an interesting level, whether it be hostile or non-hostile. But yeah, because the Backrooms is pretty much essentially infinite. Research and development. Okay. Industrial processing. Yep. So kind of like what I said before, they're going to try to move companies and a whole bunch of things into the complex. Storage and warehousing, yeah. Like I said, they're going to commercialize the Backrooms and open it to the world. That is such an interesting concept. I think that's awesome. I mean, now in real life standards, this would be horrible because we as viewers already know what's happened within the complex. We already know what's happened. There's monsters in there. How are they gonna... They gotta get rid of the monsters first before they could commercialize it, but maybe that's the point of this whole experiment. They're just gonna throw a bunch of people and things in there and see if the monsters come out or not. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. Commercial space, yeah. What in the world is that? Residential. Okay, so yeah, I knew it. They were going to put houses. The freaking trains in the Backrooms. What in the world? Dude. I mean, look, on paper, this sounds like an awesome idea. But in reality, I don't think it'd be very good. Oh, so this is what they would think like houses would be within the back rooms, like what they'd look like. Like I was saying before, concepts like housing concepts within the back room is pretty much infinite. Layouts is pretty much infinite. Like you could set up your house any way you wanted to in such a big space, meaning nobody could dog you for having a huge house. Because everyone in the back rooms could have a huge house. Even millionaires could have bigger houses than they could have ever dreamed of in reality within the back rooms.
There was increased wiring in first of key.
Huh, that's interesting. The table that the people are sitting at, what's it in the shape of? Hmm. If this doesn't spell out government, I don't know what does. It's in the shape of a pentagon, ironically enough, and I'm assuming these guys are from the US government, and specifically from the Pentagon, because they're the only ones who would invest in something like this, to be honest. So they're showing these government executives the threshold, obviously, because this is the room where it is. Is it even open at this point? It doesn't look like it. I think the portal's closed at this point. Oh no, it's open, so they're okay, they're walking into the complex, alright. They're looking around. Alright. Oh, they got a little diorama in the back rooms. That's interesting. Alright. Oh, that's just the main space of where they're at. Oh. Oh, so that little diorama is like only where they're at. Huh. That's interesting. This room's going into lockdown. Oh! What was that huge explosion? Oh, it's not going into lockdown, they shut it down.
Commercialization has been expedited. Glad you think that way. As a matter of fact, if you look to laws for the page, you see critical technologies in the world by failure to recognize that by having a system of declassification of certain elements, having the industry be with us at that point. Sir, did you come over here? Sir, please take a look at this. If you could all just excuse me for a moment. My apologies. One moment, please. What is it? What was the information on this? Sorry, there's not one of
Oh, it's that guy! I remember that because that happened in an earlier video. The dude found... there was a dude, he disappeared. But then he came back. And he found this room. He found one of the research stations. So he figured out how to get back to the threshold. Wow. And they ended just like that. Okay. That was interesting. I liked that one. That was a strong end to season 1. It really was. Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts. I think the story's going in a really cool direction. I think there's going to be more story involving the guy who just showed up back at the threshold. So he's like, even though he's safe, he's pretty much locked in there for now until they restart up the threshold, of course. But yeah, that was really interesting. Well, anyway, that's unfortunately all the time I have today for you guys. So please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications when I upload new videos. Make sure to follow my social media links down in the description below to join the Ghoul Renegade. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.